Happy Sunday. I forgot to bring in my tablet, but that's okay. I know what I'm about to do today. I'll give you a rundown. I got up my vlog for this morning. It's Sunday morning, by the way. Happy Sunday. I as always, look over my TBR against what I have borrowed from the library via Libya Hoopla. And as it turns out, just as I was doing that, the link for, the borrow that I had on hold for Still Waters by Patricia Johns came in. And when I went to go get it from Libby, I'm like, why did I ask for an ebook? I already have the ebook. But out of curiosity, I went over to Hoopla. The book just came out November 4th. I went over to Hoopla, checked Hoopla, and there it is. So I am going to be listening to that today off and on. And I say off and on because I'm not sure what time my grandchildren will be here. Now, this is book 2 in the Hearts of the Amish series by Patricia Johns. And just about 3 weeks ago, I read the first book, Green Pastures. So I'm really glad that my library has it as an audiobook. It's 9 hours and 2 minutes. And like I said, grandkids are coming, so I don't know how much of it I will be able to get done. Plus, this morning, I'm going out to my meeting. It starts at 10:30. It's currently 9:30, so we leave at 10, or just 5 minutes of 10, so I have just enough time to finish my coffee. Not quite, but I am together. I've been wavering with my decision to go to the meeting today in person because of the fibromyalgia flare that I'm dealing with. It's always available via Zoom, so I would never actually have to miss it, but I like going in person. And I was able to just take a pain pill, take a nice shower, and get myself together. I had already steamed my dress earlier. I did that earlier. And so now I'm ready. So I just have about 20 minutes or so to enjoy my coffee. I decided to make this clip now before I go to my meeting, even though I won't be starting to read this or listen to this audiobook first, because sometimes the kids get here the same time I get home. So just in case, I have that close window of time between me and Tony getting back here and the grandkids getting here, it's just better for me to just make this clip now. I cannot believe that I got yesterday's clip up, okay? I did maybe 2 hours of editing for that. It was like I'd say 14 to 17 minute vlog. And then I didn't like a whole lot of it. So I just put in, I only made 2 clips yesterday. So I just put in the morning clip and I put in the evening clip, put them in together, and edited it as if I hadn't done any editing in the first place. And then I decided to bring in book covers to the books that I had reviewed yesterday, because yesterday I got a lot of reviews written. I literally finished that at, I would say, 10 minutes to 8. And my goal is to have my videos up here on this channel for this vlog event, Neck Alley November 2.0, day 8 of 30. I want my videos up at 8. So today's video went up around 8:15 to 8:20. So I don't know how I managed to do that. I have to tell you something. When I was in high school, in the 9th grade, I went to Cambridge High. And there was a film school attached to, or right next to, within walking distance of the high school. And because I was an advanced student, my mom somehow got me in with this advanced school. In addition to that, my mom worked for WBZ, and between the film school and her working for WBZ and me getting ready, being able to work there sometimes with her, I learned how to edit. I learned how to edit in film school, but I also was used as an editor on one of the news broadcasts. And I was only 14, but what I learned in that weeks or months in film school, because I really didn't start working at WBZ until we moved to Brighton. By then, I was no longer in film school. By then, I was no longer at Cambridge High. Now I'm going to Brighton High. But whatever I had learned, somehow or another, I let, my mom know, hey, listen, I understand how this is done. So because I learned how to edit, I learned how to catch the nuances of when I break in speech compared to when, say, someone else breaks in speech. So that's why I was able to re-edit that video that I made today, or yesterday for today. And I want to eventually, as I get better with vlogs, if I continue these daily vlogs after NetGully November, I'd like to be more natural, like one take, how do they put it? One take and cut. That's how I'd rather be, one take and cut. But I don't know if I'm able to do that. It's a confidence issue. It's someone who listens to themselves and says, no, you could have said that better. You could have sounded better. But anyway, I just thought I'd tell you a little bit about my history as to why you'll notice that some of my vlogs are a little bit heavier edited than maybe another channel's vlogs might be. So that's about it. Like I said, I've got 18 minutes to finish my coffee, and I will check in with you later. Thanks for watching. Okay, I am checking in because I just finished with Still Waters by Patricia Johns. It is book number 2 in the Amish of Shepherd's Hill. It's a very sweet story. The first book that I read was basically about a young woman named Tabitha Schrock who left Amish with her Rumspringer, which is perfectly acceptable at the time of, when you're at that age before baptism. And she got married, and she ended up getting divorced. But while she was non-Amish and married, she became a veterinarian. I can never say that word right. She became a vet. And when she got divorced, she had a yearning to go back to her Amish roots. And that's what she did. She went back to Shepherd's Hill. But there's a law, or rule, I should say, among the Amish that a divorced woman can never marry unless her previous mate has passed in death. So she's not able to marry. So there was a lot of women's fiction type level of drama, very mild drama, but not non-romantic in a sense. And then, but if you read the blurb to this book, Still Waters, if you're like me, you're expecting a romance. But this time I went to Goodreads and I looked up the classification. I'm going to use that word, and it simply said Amish. And now I want to see what NetGalley says. To me, this is important because, okay, it just says religion, spirituality. And I think that's more adequate for this story. Okay, with a side of romance. I say that this story was very inspirational in that our main protagonist, Beth Peachy, Tabitha Schrock, that I just mentioned, she was in this book as well. But our main protagonist, Beth, had returned to Shepherd's Hill not to live, but to help take care of her grandmother who now had dementia and close up the house and move back to wherever her parents were. I don't remember where they were. But while she's there, there's where the story took on a lot of meat. Mammy with the dementia, Beth she's at a crossroads in her life. She's at the age where she can choose to be Amish or non-Amish, and that crossroads is there. But then there's Danny Lapp in his interest in her. So where does that go? And then we got to go back to Tabitha Schrock, who was in Green Pastures, and she's in this story here, and she's basically going to be a single woman for the rest of her life. I would love to see what happens with Tabitha as the series continues. There's a little sadness in there. I feel connected to them, I guess. I'm connected to Beth. I'm connected to Tabitha. Just like I was connected to Tabitha's sisters, Rose and Amanda from Green Pastures. So you feel a connection with these people, and it makes the story that much better. And the fact that even though I have it as an ebook for NetGalley, Hoopla had it as an audiobook, so I was able to listen to it, and I really enjoyed that. I decided to, as I always do, shift my my TBR just a little bit, only because I'm tired, and this way I won't lose anything, and I'll tell you what I mean in one moment. My grandson just went home, so Nana's tired. Uninvited by Emily Shiner is the first book in the Perfect Couple series. I have Unmarried by Emily Shiner for review as an audiobook, but Uninvited is the first book, and I got that via Audible because I got Audible for 99 cents for a month for 3 months. I'm going to, and the reason I said it'll be easier to listen to this is when I'm tired or fatigued, whichever term you prefer. When I do an audiobook, I always do the sleep timer. And that way, even if I do fall asleep, I don't lose that much of the book. And I've adapted a habit that works for me. So let's say if I have the sleep timer set for 30 minutes and it leaves off in the middle of chapter 8, and then I go back to the book the next day or the next hour, or whenever I go back to the book, I always rewind it back to the beginning of that chapter. So I'm not losing much. And if for some reason I'm not connecting with that chapter, heck, I'll go back to chapter 7. In fact, I did that with this book here, Still Waters, because my grandson was here, and there was a point when he was drawing that we started talking. I mean, he's a 6-year-old. He's not caring that his nana's listening to a book. So once he left, I did go back to the last 2 or 3 chapters in this chair and finished out that book. So I will always get the full meat of the story. I'm not someone who takes shortcuts. I can't do that. So it is only 7:11, but it's been a long day, and like I mentioned, I'm a little fatigued, so I'm gonna listen to Uninvited. I don't know how long it is. I got it from, like I said, Audible. And I can tell you, I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's 9 hours and 2 minutes. I don't even have to look it up. That's what it is. It's 9 hours and 2 minutes. So I will be listening to that, and maybe I'll come back come back to you in a few hours if I'm still awake to let you know what I think of this book. I think I've literally just read one book by Emily Shiner, and I'm going to look her up right now. Emily Shiner. Yes, the only book I've read by her is The Nanny Share. I recognized her name when the book came for review, so I gave The Nanny Share, it looks like I gave it 4 stars. And so now we'll see what Uninvited and I think Uninvited and Unmarried. I'm fatigued. Yes, Uninvited and Unmarried. Those will be my next 2 books. One Little Mistake by Miranda Ricks. That came out today, and it expired. It archived on NetGalley back in October. So I literally had to wait for today in order to borrow it or get it from Kindle Unlimited. So I just kept pushing One Little Mistake, and I kept pushing it. And I did find a way to read it on an old Kindle, but I'd much rather, read it the way that I'm used to reading it. So we'll be back with more updates as time goes on. And I'm going to do exactly like I did for Saturday, for the 8th. This is the 9th one. If this is the last part of my day with this particular vlog, then I'll say goodbye for now. And if it's not, then you'll never know I said goodbye, and I'll make another clip. So thanks for watching.